gracious grace is sufficient for you. It is all you have ever needed. And when you realize just how perfectly tailor-made His grace is for you, you'll sink in. This last week, I have felt so undeserving of God's grace. It is so abundantly perfect, and I am so abundantly imperfect that it feels as though every mistake is just heaping onto my shoulders. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." He knows exactly what you're going to go through. He knows exactly why you're going to go through it. And He knows exactly how you're going to come out on the other side. And most likely, most beautifully, and most perfectly, you are going to come out at the right time, with the right tools, with the right mindset, and with the right amount of thankfulness to give to the Lord. Now, in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 10, it says, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." And my pastor just completely wrecked me when he said, because God knows your why, He knows the circumstance and exactly what to fit you into in that circumstance. So often people will tell you why you're going through something or assume why you're going through something. Even in the miracles that Jesus performed, the disciples asked Jesus, what did this man or his parents do as a sin in order for him to have such an affliction? And Jesus responds, this man was not afflicted because of sin. This circumstance happened just the way it did, so the glory of God could prevail. What we don't often realize when we're in the midst of a season that is dry or dark or cold or completely crazy is that God has a purpose for your suffering. There's a purpose behind everything, even things that the enemy made for evil, God will use for good. So to say that He's placed you in a season or a moment or a time and you don't think it's correct or you don't think it's right, at the end of the day, God's will is what will come out on the other side of that. Even if you don't understand it in the midst, even if it makes absolutely no sense, even if you think that this has nothing to do with you, God is in control. He's using you for a purpose. He is bringing your testimony into light. He is trying to accomplish something in you for the glory of His kingdom. And truth be told, the Lord could care less about what people think you sinned on, or even what you think you sinned on, because at the end of the day, He's going to use whom He chooses. And you have no say in that whatsoever. And that's what has stayed with me the most from this sermon, is that not only is God going to use what you think is suffering, what you think is bad, what you think is trial and tribulation, He will use it to show His strength. He uses it to glorify His kingdom, and that's all I could ever ask for. And that even in the midst of me making mistakes, of me being in trials, of me being tempted, He still has tailor-made grace for me. The phrase that my pastor titled this entire sermon with was "Trust the tailor, because the tailor knows what he's doing." In order for me to accept that tailor-made grace, in order for me to walk in the purpose He has for me coming out of the darkness, I have to understand that He knows exactly what He's doing, and He always has.